Grant, I know you've worked with a lot of businesses over the years and you've helped businesses to build and become successful. To what extent do you think emotional intelligence has a role to play in the success or indeed the failure of a company?
Yeah, well, I work with emotional intelligence at work, and they're a client of mine. And what struck me about working with them is this idea that when you're an owner, manager, an entrepreneur of a business, what's going on inside of you actually then reflects in the business. So when you're struggling with, say, growth, to what extent does that represent issues that are going on inside of you in terms of your own self-limiting beliefs, your own outlook on what's happening, difficulties with staff, teamwork, all of those kind of things. The person themselves reflects some of those issues. So what I think is very, very interesting is understanding more about yourself, more about how you operate, then allows you to perhaps have a greater influence about the way the business operates, the way that you interact with the staff, get the most out of suppliers, staff and other people.
Because that's an interesting idea, isn't it? The idea that one's company, if one is lucky enough to own a company, is a sort of almost a reflection of one's own personal issues, problems, whatever they might be, or indeed optimisms and successes. But clearly you believe, and emotional intelligence at work obviously try to address this issue, that it is indeed an issue.
Yeah, I think what happens is when you've got issues, whether it's a sales and marketing issue, or it's an employee issue, or whatever else, you look for the logical, the obvious things. So, you've got a growth issue, you go to a sales and marketing expert, or you've got issues with employees, you go to an HR consultant. And those are obvious, and I'm not saying you don't ever go to those people, of course you do. But I think sometimes there are deeper things going on within a business, which I think the nuances that people miss, because perhaps they're not day to day so in tune with those things. And I think sometimes people overcomplicate business. We know in our own relationships, if you go home and you have a miserable evening with your wife because actually you're in a really bad mood, and that comes out in certain ways that you operate, that happens in a business too. So if you've got difficulties in your own life, but not perhaps the obvious ones, deeper self-limiting beliefs, deeper things happening, I think they do then affect the way that you run your business. Whether you're an owner, manager, an entrepreneur, whether you're a senior manager in a much bigger organisation. And I think what emotional intelligence at work allow you to do is uncover some of those issues. And I think it can be a lot of self-realisation, because actually once your eyes have been opened up to that, you can do something about it. But I think sometimes these are hidden and you don't actually understand that they're even going on without the help of someone like Jeremy.
Before we finish, tell me about your personal experience of Jeremy and how you found working with him.
It was an absolute delight. I mean, I'm very interested in the area. I really do fundamentally believe that these things matter in business, and I think some people sometimes don't even realise how much they matter. And I think working with someone like Jeremy, who's got insight, who's asking the right questions, perhaps sometimes challenging questions, enables a business to widen their horizons and fix things and make things better that they didn't even know were issues in the first place.